I'm going to make this as simple as possible for you. I was really intimidated when I got the trial version of Pixinsight, and it really took me all about that 45 days before I learned how a few uh, very simple steps to take um, that I now execute in about 5 minutes. Um, I was using these, and they're excellent tutorials, the light and vortex tutorials. These are probably they're just excellent tutorials. And I started out in the middle because I have a really short attention span. I wanted results. I didn't want to spend all that time learning how maybe hours worth of processing before I even could see what I had done. So I wanted some instant results. If I was going to shell out that $300, I wanted to see what, I wanted it to be worthwhile. And I started with this Andromeda galaxy. It was a good one. And again, I started somewhere in the middle, but it's a great tutorial. But you're supposed to know how to preview, sample, and make a star mass before you use it. But I started out avoiding those things and went directly for the light pollution. That's what I was having a problem with, is the vignetting and the light pollution from my DSLR. That was my biggest problem. And it said it was a DSLR tutorial, so that got me interested right away. I'll leave a link to those tutorials below in the description box. Okay, we're going to start here with a DSS stack. Now you can stack in Pixinsight, and it stacks much better. It doesn't lose as much data. But you've got to do all your flats correctly with 50% histogram and all that. But okay, the first thing you want to do when you open a TIFF is you want to auto stretch it. Do not do that. You can't, if you process after auto stretching, you'll mess the image all up and you'll have real issues. So we'll just make a clone. And that clone we can mess around with a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and try to get rid of the green on it right away. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing here. It's not important. Okay. Image. Auto stretch. Okay. Now you see the color's all off in that because you have to go through this process. It's determining color by the border and blah, blah, blah. So we got to, this is just, I need this to make my preview samples, to choose an area with no stars, etc. So I need to look at what's there. Here's our image that we're going to work with. The first thing we need to do is crop out those black borders, and we're going to go to dynamic crop for that. And let's hit reset. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Shit. Do that to me. We're going to get rid of those black borders, and looks like I still got some. Left them over on that side there. Okay, black border's gone. Now I want to zoom in on an area, and I could notch that area. I'm going to go ahead and kill that. I can see it's pretty well out of stars, but I want to be out of the nebula too. And I want to sample the background. And to do that, I'm going to take this little piece of paper here. It's called Preview. Make this little sample here. And okay, I've got a little sample of the background. Now I want to sample all the stars for the brightness, for the white balance. Okay, and I don't want to look at those boxes, so I'm going to go preview and show preview. Okay, now I'm going to neutralize the background, and I'm going to go to color calibration, background neutralization. Now I'm going to choose that little box I just created, and it's preview 1. And you can either hit this to apply, or you can I usually just end up dragging that over. Okay, that's done. Reset, close. Process, color calibration, color calibration. Now we've got to choose number 2 up here, number 2 preview, and okay, and hit down here. We choose preview number 1 again. Now we don't have to mess with any of these settings later on. You can try tweaking them. And we're just going to drag that over. Okay. We still can't auto stretch. We have to get rid of the green. If we auto stretch before the green's out, it's going to calibrate. It's going to mess it up. So let's remove that green. Sometimes your stack is real blue or red. Right now this one is green. And this doesn't remove all the green. What it does is it removes the green that's a problem, but keeps the green where you need it. Something like that. Now, whether or not you do these 3 processes before or after background extraction, you can try it both ways. There's another process here that's RGB working space. Sometimes this process could be applied. You usually want to apply global, and I think you want to bring all these down to 1. That's how you want to do it. But if you hit global, yeah, I think that's how he does it. Well, let's go ahead and hit auto stretch. See what we're working with. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try this. Okay. Now what we want to do is, and you can see the difference of the image. That was just because we didn't auto stretch the image that we're working with. And here we did auto stretch it before we worked with it. See that difference? It's incredible. So remember, don't auto stretch the image you're working with before you go through the first 3 processes. Now we want to do dynamic background extraction. I'm going to click on that. It's a big image with a lot of stars. We're going to increase our tolerances to 1.500. Now we're going to open sample generation. We're going to choose 20 and 15. 20, tab, and 15. And we're going to hit generate. And now we're going to open up target image correction. We're going to choose subtraction. Okay, now we've got to scrub this image and keep, this is the scrub. It's this part right here. We're going to keep all these nice and clean ones. And we're going to hit advanced, clean. But first we might go through and get rid of any that are near that nebula or in that nebula. We don't want any in that nebula. I don't like them anywhere near the nebula. Because it'll see, that's got a lot of nebula in it. And we definitely don't want that in there. So is it right? Okay. Let's hit rewind, and we'll go back to the beginning. There's our thing right there. Now we're going to advance. Now, if you see a star like that, you know, you can either just delete it, or you can move it. All depends on how much time you want to take doing this, but you can't have any star in there at all. The more time you spend doing this, the better the results are going to be. So I'm just going to go through this here real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've run through it here, all the X's, but I'm going to go hit rewind and make sure that I didn't miss anything. They're all looking pretty clean. Now, some people, there's a little bit of black in that one. Sometimes if you see stuff like that, I might want to, also little spots like this, you might want to X out. I don't like that yellow. It's good to run through this until you see absolutely clean images. And those different shades, you can try different things to scrub it better and get different results. And when you're satisfied, you drag the new instance over. And what it's done is created a copy. It's created a copy, and it's created what it's shown of the background that's removed. And to see that, we'll hit stretch. And this is all the light pollution that it removed from the image. So that's pretty nice. This program's almost worthwhile just for this aspect alone. So we can hit Autostretch now. And here's our final result from this original image. Where's our original image? Oh, that's right, it's right here. But once again, let's compare the two. Go ahead and close that. Now, we can compare our original image, which is right here. That's from our stack, from DSS, and that's our original image. And we can open that in Photoshop, and we can open this in Photoshop. But this is the result of the first couple of steps. I find this amazing. Now, after that, we can go into morphological reduction of the stars because they are bloated from a stack and long exposures, so they're not correct. And we can also get rid of the noise. But there's one more step that we can do at this point other than, let's see, that would be photometric calibration. And this works really well. Program might be worth the money just for this. And what we want to do is we'll go search coordinates, and we're going to type in M42. Let's see if that gives it to us. Yeah, it gave it to us. There's the data. It's looking for the right ascension and declination information. So we're going to hit get. And now we're going to process this. And we're going to leave all the other things there like they are. Now, sometimes this crashes and doesn't work, but other times it does work. You got to be online. And it takes a while to go through this process, but it works really, really good. You can read about what it does. It does a lot of different things other than just color coordinate it right correctly. You'll see the processes that it goes through here. It will score the image, and it will adjust the white balance, adjust everything. You can read some of the stuff that it does. Resolution, it's got it's not focused very well. It's 2.9 arc seconds. Is that what it said? Maybe not. I'm usually getting about 0.08 arc seconds on my focusing, which you can check that. Your focus on 28 stuff. Sure, you can read it while it does it. it's doing a multi-scale median transform according to the right ascension declination. So it's really doing some great stuff here. I hope this one does. Because there's a lot there. This is shot with a 70 millimeter stellar view at about 460 focal. You can see I have my focal 1000. These were. Here's my images. Oh, it's not even what, 10 or 12 images stacked. And they are at 180 seconds, so they're 3 minutes. These are like 10 or 12 images of 3 minutes. Shot with a DSLR, a Nikon 810, which is a high-end camera. Okay, it worked. Here's our white balance confirmation came in, and this is our image. And you know, if you're satisfied with it at this point, or you want to work with it, you know, you got something to work with now. Because we open this in Photoshop, we're not going to get anything out of that. It's going to be a real bit. It's going to take hours. But this, watch. We'll go save as. Let's just save. This is how you export. Go save as. And I'm going to say new because I have others in there. Okay. And then I'm going to, to open the export, I'm just going to do something really simple. I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to find it. And what do we call that? New. These are all my other copies of rendering this shit. Let's see. New. Where is it? There it is. I'm just going to right click on it. I'm going to open with Adobe, and here it is. And now I'm going to open it in RAW, and here I've got complete control over the image. I can do anything I want with the image. And what I like about this image is I don't want to make it completely black. So I've got a lot of faint nebula in here, which all this other faint stuff I would have to use Pixinsight to bring that out really effectively. The problem with Photoshop is it over edits, but there's some streaks in here I like, really cool. You know, I don't like high contrast because you lose your dark nebula and your faint white dust clouds, and I really like those. Okay, so this is cool. I mean, this is basic. This is from that crappy stack. Here's something to work with. You can see we need to take noise out of there. We got a lot of things to do with the image, but a lot of noise to get rid of. But we can. This is a full frame. That's why they're elongated here. It's a full frame camera, and on the edges the stars elongate, but in the center they're nice circles. But you can even correct this within reason in Pixinsight. These are bloated, a little bit, tiny bit off on the tracking. 3 minutes without guiding on a belt-driven encoded East Q6. That's pretty good. Alright, so back here, the next process I'd probably take it through is morphological, probably take it through morphological transformation. Already got it preset. No, I'm at too high settings, so I'll have to go here to selection. That allows me to change these settings. I want to be at about 75% there. I'm really at a small star here, but that's where I'm wanting to be right now. Okay, so this should the stars. Probably 3 or 4 times it runs through these settings. Yeah, it helped a little bit, but I can pull up these iterations and go ahead and reprocess. I don't know but it makes these little black. Anyway, you is dramatic result between that and less than 5 minutes worth of processes. The next thing, I'm by no means a professional at this, but the next thing you might want to do in Pixinsight for the noise is, yeah, now I changed them to diamond shapes. I've chosen these shapes here, and they are much smaller, but if I go undo, you can see what they were, and redo, and I just want them there. I like them there. Okay, the next thing you might want to do for that noise is you might want to open up multilinear transform. This breaks it down. I've chosen this many layers. The presets are pretty good. We're going to choose noise reduction, the first layer. We're going to choose 3000. We're going to choose 2 iterations, and we're going to choose 75, 50%. We're going to choose 50%. Okay. Now we'll go to second layer. We're going to choose noise reduction. We're going to choose 2000. At 50%. At 2. We're going to go to the next layer. We're going to go down to 1000. Choose 2. I'm going to go down to 50%. And the last one, we're going to just go 1 iteration. We're going to go down to 500. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and process that. And you're going to notice noise. A lot of noise is going to get rid of here. I want to show you one more thing before I go. That's it. Kind of works good sometimes. You can tweak it a lot, play around with it. It works, but yeah, we got rid of a lot of noise there. Before, after. I like it. Because wait, this doesn't get rid of, it gets rid of noise only in the background. Well, you control how much noise you get rid of and what layer. So I guess number 1 is the most aggressive layer, and then these are background layers, so you get rid of less noise in the background layer. That way you don't lose your nebula, and you just get rid of noise where you want it. Like I said, you can play with these. Now the other thing we wanted to see, it's a script in utilities, and it's called Dark Structure Enhance. Now this works really good with like the Triangulum Galaxy and stuff. You can play with these, but you can just try it out here. It's going to enhance this area here, this dark area. Maybe the Running Man, it'll enhance a little bit. And some of this area. Now I haven't got control of this script the way I would like to be in control of it, but it's just a matter of playing with it. It doesn't take too long there, it's done. You can see the difference, it increased the darkness there, which is nice. We'll undo. There, you can see the difference. And I like it. So we're going to go ahead and save that. Okay, that's enough for now. These are really good, simple, easy processes that will give you results within that 45-day trial time period. I went ahead, spent the $300 for this. Thought it was well worth it. I mean, I can take an image like this in like this here stack in Photoshop, and I can play with it for hours, and I'll never get to this. I can take this image here go to the aggressive raw filter, and I can even do some real aggressive things like this, but I still am not going to get anywhere near what we're getting out of Pixinsight. Look at that. That's crap. And those are extremely aggressive things I just did. And I'll never get that green out. I can go all the way over here and the green's still there. I can go all the way over here and the green's still there. The green is still affecting the color. So man, it's I can't imagine processing an image now without Pixinsight. Okay, good enough. I should be a salesperson for the company, but I'm not.